Hello, everybody. This is Swati live from New Delhi. I'm going to be here only for 4 more days and then I'll be traveling. Before I say anything more, I would like to tell you that tomorrow evening I may not be able to come live, but there will be a session. I'm going to pre record it and then have it on air so you can still meditate with me. You will be still able to do the meditation with me, but you may not be able to actually answer live questions. But do email me. My email address again is to-meditate-together@gmail.com. To-meditate-together@gmail.com. Download the app on any of your device, app to meditate, and go on Facebook, find the page to meditate and give us a like. With all that, now I'm going to get to the meat. I read the poem Autobiography in 5 chapters to you. I had asked you what you thought about the poem. Most of you said you loved the poem. You probably find meanings in it. But I'm going to tell you why I love this poem and why I used it in this particular class. It's amazing how this poem really is talking about a couple of things that are so relevant to us. I'm going to screen share with you guys, and I'm hoping I can actually have the poem here. I know some people don't like the idea of analyzing poems, but believe me, the only reason is not to analyze, but to tell you what it is that you are listening to. I hope you guys can see it. Can you see it? Those who are there, please just say yes, we can see it on the screen. It would be useful if I know that you guys are sharing it, or rather you are able to see it. So I walk down the street. I walk down the street. Yeah, I walk down the street. Now look at this. I'm helpless. So in the first chapter, she's a victim. What happens to her? She cannot get out of the hole that she is in. Now let's go to the second chapter. In the second chapter, she still falls in the hole. And now she's blaming everybody else. It's not my fault. It still takes a long time to get out of the hole. Third chapter. Now her eyes are open. Now she's mindful. She's paying attention to what she could be doing wrong. Not in a blaming way, but just to learn about yourself, to be aware. And what does that get her? It tells her it's not really anybody else's business. And maybe I did make a mistake. And once she admits it, she has so much more control. She gets out immediately. And then chapter 4, she just there's a deep hole, but she avoids it. She walks around it. And chapter 5, beautiful. I walk down another street. She doesn't even find that hole anymore. Now, what is going on with her? What's going on with her is really the fact that after being mindful and after all the awareness that she has, she is changing her habit. But the one important message in this case is to realize, oh, you know what? I think I need to put my earphones. I'm going to go get them, okay? Just hold, guys. I'm sorry, but I did find them. Any habit that we want to change or any hole that we fall in, it takes at least 5 chapters. And what does that mean? If you're working on something in your mindfulness, it may or may not work right away. It may take you a little bit of a time to realize it. Sometimes it may seem frustrating, but just hold. Because one day you are going to walk around the hole, and the next time you may not even see that hole. as I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to get rid of this thing on the screen and allow you to ask me questions again. Okay. So such is the nature of autobiography in 5 chapters. So anytime you feel frustrated with yourself, or if you feel that you're falling off the wagon, remember the autobiography in 5 chapters. Okay? So now, in terms of questions from before, somebody asked me a question, if it is necessary to stay in lotus position when you are meditating. You guys have seen pictures of people sitting in formal positions with with their hands in different positions such as these. In fact, you may even have seen pictures of people levitating when they're meditating. Now, all these things that you see are just artifacts. If you talk to a real meditation master, you will know that is not the necessary component of meditation. You can sit in your chair, you can sit anywhere you want. But the only requirement is to have the spinal cord straight. Having said that, some mindfulness meditation teachers and techniques will ask you to sit on the floor. Lotus position or not, it's not exactly clear. But in what's called, those of you who do yogas would know what is Sukhasana, which is basically you fold your legs, but you don't have to have lotus position. And then you stay in that position for as long as you're meditating. You can also put a cushion underneath you. In fact, when we get to breath awareness meditation, I will actually show you pictures of how to do this. For the timing, all I want to say is there are meditation poses, and a lot of meditation techniques will ask you to sit in that pose. I believe, not just me, I mean, from what I've read, the reason for having a position, the way it helps you, is you learn to sit through discomfort. No matter where you start, you are going to be uncomfortable in that position unless it's like a really nice couch, sofa, or a chair where you're sitting. If you make yourself sit through those 20 minutes or 2 hours or 1 hour in that position, you are training your body to learn to sit through discomfort and just watch and observe. And guess what? Mind and body are connected. So your mind is also getting used to paying attention to, or getting used to sitting through discomfort without acting out, or without over expressing, or for example, like feeling anger without having to yell and break things. So because mind and body are connected, sitting through those positions does help. But where it began was, it was a formal position of any spiritual activity. That's really the beginning of sitting in that pose. So today we are going to do a meditation that's a little bit different. Now I'm going to ask you to think about a physical activity. It could be either walking up and down, or it could be moving your hand in a certain way, or it could be jumping jacks, or any physical activity. Stretching or exercising, I can't do it because I would prefer sitting in front of the screen. So I am in fact going to do something with my hands. But in your case, you can choose something that's a little more active. And when you do that, pay attention to your body sensations. In this case, body sensations would mean muscular movements, or the temperature change, or what you feel on the skin, as well as what you feel inside whatever part of your body you're using. You may hear things, but you're not really paying attention to the smell that much, although you may smell things. You're not
paying attention to the taste as much, and you're not paying attention to your eyesight as much. So basically what you're paying attention is just the body sensation inside, like the movement or the touch, what one would say is whatever is the movement or the touch inside, that's what you're paying attention to. So let's do it. I'm going to give you almost 10 minutes to do whatever exercise you're doing. Now, while you're doing it, I will do my own hand movements. So let's start. If your mind is wandering around, bring it back. Developing the focus and concentration, and always coming back to whatever you have decided you should be doing or you want to do for those, for that time period. That's partly what you're doing. If your mind is wandering around and getting lost in thoughts, and if you're not aware of where your mind is, once you realize it, just say to yourself, wow, that was a mindful moment. And come back to noticing the movements, the muscular movement, any sensation on the body, on the skin, and any temperature change that you may feel. If you're walking, walk slowly. Put forward each foot deliberately and notice how your foot touches the earth and how it feels like each time. It may be a very earthy, very grounded feeling. Notice your feet And notice maybe your ankles and your shins each time when you touch, like slowly. And now, if you want, you can stop or continue doing it for a little bit longer while I read the comments. People are saying they can see the poem, they could see the poem. Someone's asking me how many meditation techniques do I know. The meditation technique that I feel I know the best, and the one where, well, people would say that I do know, I have learned the most for, and I've studied it, is mindfulness meditation technique. So I am an avid learner as well as teacher of mindfulness meditation. Other than that, I have only dabbled into other meditation techniques because I wanted to find out what they are about. I can't say I know about them, or I have definitely not mastered them. For example, TM, then the Vedantic type of meditation, which is emptying your mind. And there are other techniques like this, Art of Living by Sri Ravi Shankar. Then there are other types of meditation that you'll hear about. But no, I haven't really mastered any other technique other than Vipassana or mindfulness meditation. I must have mentioned it before. Mindfulness meditation is practice with the name Vipassana or Vipassana. There are many, many Vipassana retreats in India as well as in other places in the world. A lot of them are founded by Mr. Goenka, who came to India and he started these centers. This history I will tell you a little bit when the right time comes for you to know about these things. Okay, so somebody is asking me, now when I allow myself to be present on a cup of tea in front of me, I rather become present on everything around me, every fragrance and every sound. Is that okay? I would say partly what you're doing is when you decide an object, that's what you want to focus on. In a way, you are training your mind to focus and concentrate on the things that you decide that you want. Because in life, it's very common when you are supposed to do one thing, we really end up doing something else, or we are tempted to do something else. Like when I know I'm supposed to exercise, I find 3,000 other things to do. Like sometimes When I was, for example, when I was working on my PhD thesis, it became really important to clean the house. So if when you decide to focus on your mindful cup of tea, other very pleasant things are attracting you, well, avoid the temptations. Okay, the poem wasn't big enough, somebody's saying, but I guess you did know about it. So I would say that it's okay, even if you couldn't see the whole thing. So I was talking about the idea of detached observer. Okay, somebody's saying, I would like to know the program each week if you have planned it yet. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Around Friday or Saturday, you will get an email, and that email will tell you what I'm going to do the week after. Like this whole week, we were focusing on mindful activities. Next week, we are going to be focusing on breath awareness. We will get into more formal practice of meditation. And I will be teaching you a lot of different ways in which you can focus on your breath and you can decide which one is the best for you. And I'll also tell you why you are learning those things. But that's going to come up next week on Sunday. And after that, every week towards the end, you will know about the other things I'll be doing. I don't know, you may have received an email that had outlined the entire program, what I'm going to cover in each week. I had started talking about the idea of detached observer when I stopped and I got distracted by this comment, but I decided it really wasn't distraction because somebody wanted to know. So I am going to show you a book. I have already talked about it, but I'm going to again show this to you. If you hold just for a minute. Okay. Now, okay. I've already talked about this book. This is a wonderful book called Dancing with Life by Philip Moffitt. I believe I've told you at least in one other session already, but I want to again say that if you are afraid of losing touch with feelings because of mindfulness, you should set that specific fear aside. You're not going to lose touch with either positive or negative feelings. If that happens, that's not because of mindfulness, probably because of your pride. So at this point, I suggest reading Dancing with Life because it talks about how the life, because I'm going to reading it. If life is going to dance with you, then what kind of dance partner do you wish to be? Allow things to come to you. Don't be afraid of experiencing them. And mindfulness practice is going to teach you how to experience emotions and feelings without falling apart, without immersing them to the degree that they are paralyzing you. So the first step in doing that is really, I hope I did this right. The first thing that you're doing is really developing focus and concentration. The first step is focus and concentration, and then we move on to more and more meditations that teach you how to be openly aware. And this whole practice is actually going to allow you to dance with life. Just remember that. I have a couple of more comments here. Let me talk about it. Is it always good to perform one type of meditation for a considerable period of time, or to dabble in different types of meditations for shorter durations? From your experience, which is more effective? Okay, I have already in a way answered this question. It's an important question. Don't have two psychologists. So if you're going to take up something seriously on a serious level, okay, you can find out about other techniques, and that's not such a big deal. On intellectual level, you can find out about anything you want. But if you want any serious practice, I would suggest practice one, especially when you are learning it. Practice one type of meditation, get a feel for it. Allow that particular technique to mean something to you, to make the change that you're looking for, or get that aha moment which you will at some point or the other. Now I understand. If you're dabbling around, again, you're spreading yourself too thin, you're distracting yourself. So I would say, if you want to practice mindfulness, at the same time, I have already said this, if you already have an established TM practice and you want to keep doing TM practice, that's okay. That's not harmful. However, if you really want to immerse yourself and understand mindfulness meditation, eventually, when we get to the meat, I would suggest practice just this. And then tell me what you think, what aha moments you get, if at all. Okay, Ron is saying, when I practice mindfulness, my head aches and I switch from one sensory organ to the other. What should I do if I try to take it slowly, but the pain still persists? So when I'm not sure, are you saying that when you practice mindfulness, doesn't matter which activity you are doing, you get a headache? If that's what's happening, I really think you need to go gentle on yourself. You really don't need to focus so much that your head hurts. You are saying that then you switch from one sensory organ to the other. What should I do? I tried taking it slowly, but the pain still persists. I am not sure if there is any medical issue that you have, Ron. If so, definitely consult a doctor. It's always a good idea to see why you're getting a headache. But yeah, I mean, there are times when people focus on one part of the body for too long. Here, for example, they get headache. If they focus on the heart for too long, they start feeling their heartbeat so much, they start feeling anxious. And so the advice generally is to move from one sensory organ to other. So if you're already doing that, that's okay. So that may help you to avoid your headache. But otherwise, go gently on yourself. I think I don't see any other real question here. So because of that, I'm going to actually also tell you that we are almost running out of time. So what we are going to do tomorrow is again our last day. Tomorrow is going to be our last day of mindful activities. So again, I'm going to do a mindful activity with you and talk about it a little bit. And then from Sunday onwards, we are going to switch to the next stage. Now, when I say Sunday, I'm talking about India time, which is going to be Saturday in the US. And please, wherever you are, find out what time zone you are in, which is India time, IST, Sunday morning. So I'll see you all tomorrow morning for me. We'll have a little bit of a chat and then our meditation. I hope you are enjoying the mindfulness camp. Stick around and you're going to get your aha moments. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.